All right, our next guest here on the Rip City Drive is the president of the Oregon State Elks Association, and they've got a couple of big events coming up, and we're going to talk about some of the different things that they provide in the community, which is awesome. Very happy to welcome Blake to the Rip City Drive. Blake, good afternoon. I appreciate your time.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things I want to talk with you about, including your night with the Trailblazers. But I guess first off, for those who may not be aware, the Elks Association, what are some of the different things? How was it founded? And then what are some of the different things that you guys do here in the community to assist?
Sure. So we've actually got a total of 47 lodges in communities all over Oregon. We are part of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, which has been around for 156 years, originally founded in New York and spread across the country. And a lot of what we do is we are a charitable fraternal organization, which means we exist to give back to our communities. And really what we support is dependent on our community's needs, but we focus a lot on our youth programs. We just had our annual scholarship banquet where we gave out scholarships to about 20 deserving students. We do a lot for veterans, such as providing move-in kits for homeless veterans who are transitioning from houselessness into stable housing, which has all the necessary home staples like pots and pans, sheets, dishes. And we also promote our drug awareness program, which seeks to educate communities about substance abuse as well as signs to look for and what treatment options may be available.
That's terrific. We're talking with Blake Whitson here from the Oregon Elks Association. I wanted to talk to you about, some of the work you're doing with drug prevention. You guys are working with a few of the state's recovery high schools, and there's been a big award in terms of $9,000 per school. But can you talk to me about, because I had not heard about this and so I started digging in, what exactly are the recovery high schools and what are they doing?
So these are 3 high schools. This program is approved by the state legislature, and they established these 3 specialized high schools, and they are what is called a school of choice model. So students choose to be there. They're not placed there judicially or forced to be there. So these are students who have addiction issues and are wanting to go through recovery, and these schools offer them a structured, supportive setting where they can continue their education but also receive the services that are recovery-focused to help them in their recovery from substance abuse in a safe and supportive environment that combines the academics and the recovery support.
And what's been the reaction so far to the programs and how well it's working?
So far, the reaction has been phenomenal as far as community awareness, getting these programs started. There are 3 other schools, as mentioned, one in Salem, one in Lake Oswego, the other in Portland. And for this year, as state president with the Elks, I get to fundraise for a cause that is special to me. And looking at these schools and the services they provide, 2 years ago, my niece passed from an overdose. So I looked at this year with the opportunity to really find a way to support other students and other youth who may be struggling with addiction to try to support them on their recovery journey.
Well, I think not only that, but, the hope that you provide by telling these students that, hey, you have yourself in a situation, you want help, and we're going to be able to provide a pathway for you. Like, that provides hope. I love that.
Absolutely. And that's what these schools are all about, is providing that hope that these students have a support system, that there's people who care about them, both the educators that work in these schools, as well as the members of the community to support them on their recovery journey.
So how did the concept for the recovery schools come about?
There's actually been a lot of these schools founded across the country. There's different models. Like I said, Oregon's our school of choice. Other states have these where they are more of a private school model where students pay tuition to be there. Oregon's are free public schools. So students do not have to pay to attend them. And these have really started to develop out of the need and recognition that we have a significant number of students who do struggle with addiction as a result of many different factors. And there's a lot of things that play into that, particularly in the school environment, whether that be mental health challenges, struggles from bullying, other things that play into all of these factors that contribute to substance use. And so creating these environments where students can be supported and have the supports they need to go through addiction recovery is essential.
My papa was a member of the Elks Association, and the one thing that he loved to do through his work and volunteering time was work with the veterans. And I think it's because of his time in the military and serving in World War II. And, he saw the pain and the trauma that a lot of his friends went through in service. And so he loved being able to give back and contribute to the veterans. So can you talk a little bit about some of the veteran services you guys do to be able to help people who are, trying to readapt after being a part of that?
Sure. So a big one, like I mentioned, is unfortunately we have a significant number of veterans who are experiencing homelessness. And there are programs out there, funds through the VA and other organizations that help get these veterans transitioned into stable housing. But what these programs provide is they will cover utilities, they will cover first and last month's rent, that type of thing. But when you move in somewhere, if you don't have the basic essentials, you still have struggles. So the Elks provide these welcome home kits, and these will have, sometimes they have furniture like beds, chairs, but most commonly what they have is laundry supplies. They have bath towels, shower curtains, kitchen supplies, so the pots and pans, glassware, dishes, utensils. We even got someone mentioned to us that a lot of people give us canned goods through food boxes, but no one's ever given us a can opener to open them up with. So we've started making sure when we do these welcome home boxes, there's a can opener in there. So all of these things that we take for granted and don't even think about, but these individuals who are being housed could really use and benefit from, we're making sure they have that to set them up for success.
We're talking with Blake Whitson, who is the president of the Elks Association here in the state of Oregon. I was curious, too, with, the changing times. And, I've talked to my grandparents about this a lot before they passed, about, the time in which they grew up, and especially after World War II, where, there was a lot of social capital. People were really involved in different, groups and stuff around the community, involved in their neighborhoods, working with their neighbors and stuff. What is it like with membership now and people who still want to continue to be involved in the Elks Association?
So I can actually say very proudly, our association has had 5 straight years of membership growth here in the state of Oregon. So we are growing. We are bringing new members in. And really, it's been a changing of the mindset. For a very long time, organizations like the Elks did not want to talk about what we did. Or if we did, it was like your example, amongst family. It was never out in the open, never out in the community, certainly never on a radio interview. And we've really been changing that narrative and getting out and promoting what we actually do for communities, the good things we do. And that has been resonating, especially with younger members who are wanting to come in because they want a way to give back and have been looking for that type of organization where they can get involved and work at giving back in their own community.
I love that. I love hearing that there's not just people at our age, Blake, but younger people who want to get involved and give back and be able to help people in the community. It's great.
Yeah, and it's been, our lodges are trending. We've got several lodges that are trending younger and younger. Milwaukee, Portland, up in the metro area, for example, is one of our lodges that's very quickly growing and bringing in a younger demographic of individuals who are really attracted to our charitable programs and our offerings for different events and functions there at the lodge as well.
So coming up this weekend, you've got Elks Night with the Trailblazers. What all's entailed with your night at Moda Center?
So this is actually going to be the second time we have done an Elks Night at the Portland Trailblazers. This time we are going to be doing that in conjunction with a special halftime presentation. So at the end of halftime, we're going to have the opportunity to go out to center court with members of our organization as well as representatives from Oregon's 3 recovery high schools. And we will be doing a ceremonial presentation of each of those $9,000 checks to those schools, and really using this as an opportunity not just for a night for our members, but to really shine a spotlight on the work that these schools and these dedicated educators are doing for these students.
That's awesome. I love it. I think it's great that you're going to be out there and get a chance to spread the news. And I'm glad that you're taking, I've talked to different, I've had different bosses and even, people in radio now, my bosses and stuff. They always talk about making sure that you take credit for the work that you've done. I think it's great, Blake, that the vision has changed now to where you guys are starting to talk about the things that you're doing because, honestly, for me, like knowing that my grandfather and, was a huge, member and contributing to a lot of different things, I didn't understand all the different things that are going on. But when you put it out there and I see the difference you're making, especially with the recovery schools, like it's nice to know that and understand the difference it's making in the community. It's important.
Absolutely. And that's really what we're finding is resonating more and more with people is that we get that message out there.
All right, great. Well, Blake, I really appreciate the time and sharing your story and the work that you guys are doing in the community. Anything else you want to get out to the masses?
The only thing I would say is I would encourage people to check out if there is one of our lodges near you. You can find information on our website, OregonElks.org. You can see where we have lodges and find one in your community and go meet the people there and find out what they're doing in your local area.
Can you stop by? Like, if you're curious, can you stop by on a night to meet people? How does that work?
Absolutely. If you're curious, stop in on a night, say that you've heard about the Elks, you want to learn more, and I guarantee you there's going to be someone in that lodge who would be happy to talk to you and show you around.
Well, Blake, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on the show to share some of your work and your story. And I love the recovery schools. I think it's awesome. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night this weekend at Motor Center with the Blazers.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on.